Hello everyone, welcome to an algebra video tutorial learning about how to factor a trinomial with a leading coefficient a equal to 1. So here I've got my trinomial. We got t squared minus 7t plus 10. And I want to factor this thing out into two binomials multiplied together. And let's first identify our coefficients. I know my leading coefficient is 1. Because there's just t squared, so there's just a 1 multiplying it. I know my value for b, the middle coefficient is negative 7. And I know my value for c, the constant term, is going to be equal to 10. All right. Now I've talked before, our strategy when I'm looking to factor this thing out is to focus on whatever my b and my c coefficients are. I need to find two numbers that add up to equal b, but multiply to equal c. So what are two numbers that add up to negative 7 but multiply to equal 10? Well, again, I wanted to do some negatives and think strategically about my negatives. For c here, to get a positive value for c, I either need two positive numbers for m times n, or I need two negative numbers because two negatives also make a positive when multiplied together. But when looking at my middle term, they need to add together to become negative 7, which to me then means, okay, if they add together and I'm getting a negative number when they add together, that means they both have to be negative to be able to multiply to make a positive. So I'm looking for two numbers that are both negative that add to negative 7 but multiply to 10. And my two numbers are negative 2 and negative 5. Those add up to negative 7, and then negative 2 multiplied by negative 5 add up to positive 10. So check it out. We can factor this into t minus 2 and t minus 5. That is the same thing. This trinomial factors into those two binomials. But let's go ahead and check it out just to make sure. Let's multiply it out. T times t is t squared. T times negative 5 is negative 5t or minus 5t. Negative 2 times t is going to be negative 2t. And negative 2 times negative 5 is plus 10. Let's go ahead and simplify things down now. Negative 5 minus negative 2, those middle terms are like terms, and so we end up with t squared minus 7t plus 10. Well, let's review what we just did, right? How did we get this plus 10? Well, we took negative 2 times negative 5, right? We distributed these two things together. That's what we did in this step here. We found our two numbers that multiplied to make positive 10. So we're kind of working our way backwards to this, right? How did I get this negative 7 right here? Well, look at, we added negative 5 plus negative 2, which, oh look, we have that right there. We figured out negative 2 plus negative 5 would add to negative 7. So when factoring, this method over here of figuring out two numbers that add to b and multiply to c is basically just working our steps backwards to get to the factored form. And our final answer, just like we always wrote, or just already had wrote there, is that it factors into t minus 2 times t minus 5. All right, there's our third example of factoring trinomials with a leading coefficient of a equals 1. Continue on to this video series, and we're going to get into some more difficult, more complicated examples of factoring binomials out.